This is really a funny story. Confession that no one would know. I was so excited to go to one of the places where Ellen White lived for like 1 year.
Okay.
This is in Norfolk. She called it Norfolk Villa in Granville in Sydney. So we're so excited. I located the place. I mean, we did like our assignment how to locate this place, even to the point that I used one of our elders to locate in the real estate where is this picture of this house. So we located, and when we went there, like 47 of us there, one bus, we went there, and I was so excited. We took a picture of this place, and when we were on the bus, we realized that the house was adjacent to the house we were taking pictures.
You were so excited
Because it's so the same, but except for some features of the color.
Yeah.
And in Australia, you cannot change the color or anything if it's a historic place. I don't know, but it was a tale of two houses.
I think I've had a similar experience as well, Pastor. Because I think it's funny, because a couple years ago I was tasked with Adventist Missions to do a historical walk through New York of the Adventist work that was done way in the past. This is 1900s, and so the director gives me a photo of where the conference was. I forget the actual name of the but I think it's Greater New York Conference, I think was the actual name, but it might have changed. So he gives me a photo, and I'm walking around this area. I can't find it, and so I need to relax. Maybe I'm just stressed, and so I go to a bookstore. There's this bookstore there, and I go upstairs, and I'm just sitting there. Just for some reason, I'm sitting there, and I look across, like from the bookstore. Sad to say, it's now a McDonald's.
Yeah.
But the old buildings beside it matched exactly what was in the photo, and I go.
So you were there.
I was there where the conference used to be, and it was just interesting to me because the other building stayed the same, except the conference office that we used to have, which is now a McDonald's. but knowing that that's where our church started. I mean, on the East Coast, it was very. It adds flavor to my belief. It adds flavor to my faith, because it's not just black and white photos. It's actual locations. I see the square block. I see the street where people walk. And this poses a question to me. What do you think gives us that reasoning that we should find time, if it's financially possible, that we get to visit these sites, whether it's Adventist Heritage or even where Christ walked or where Paul walked? What can you share with us, some type of significance of?
Or maybe let me add a question: is it a waste of time going to these places?
There you go. Yes.
Is it a waste of money?
There you go.
Going to these places.
Yes. That's a better way of putting it.
Ellen White went to Switzerland, and not only went to Switzerland, she literally went to the Waldensian village and all of this. Why did she go there? And how did it add flavor to her writing, especially the Great Controversy? It was wonderful. Had she not experienced, she even wrote detailed of everything she experienced there. Not only that, she even confirmed these places, this is what I saw, and all of this. So for me, going towards, let me see, one of Ellen White's houses, where she wrote the Desire of Ages. Just to give an idea, we often think about, last time I talked to you about the Great Controversy, she was so sick, like 3 times she almost died. But when she was writing Desire of Ages, December 8th, she arrived in Sydney. She left like November 12th from San Francisco, and then Honolulu, and then Samoa, and then New Zealand, and at December 8th she arrived there. In December 21, she attended the most powerful meeting, because this is the organization of the Australasian Union. The day after, she contracted malaria, and then she had like pain. The whole body was in pain. The only thing that have pain is her wrist to her finger.
Really?
For 11 months, she was writing Desire of Ages. 11 months.
So that's the history of how she began to write it.
Yes. She couldn't even move. The moment she moved, there was pain. If you read it, just Google it. Ellen White, Experiences in Australia. The chapter was discussed by Mom Angie there. I gave it to her. On the bus, we were moving on the bus. The title is Ministry in Great Pain and Suffering. And for 11 months, she was writing this. She was not yet finished with it, but she began with this. And seeing the house of Ellen White in the sunny side in Coranbong, and she could not use her saloon, they call it saloon, like the sala. She would often write outside of her house in the garden during this time, because she sacrificed, her comfort because the saloon became Mac and Turfer's like clinic. That was the predecessor of the sanitarium or the Sydney sanitarium. There was no hospital anywhere but her house, and there was no doctor but Sarah McInterfer, her literary assistant, at the same time nurse. I mean, going to these places, goosebump anywhere.
Yeah, especially knowing the context that's behind it. Yes, you can read it in a book, but seeing probably the garden that you were referring to and the house, it adds that context that's, for me, I'm calling it flavor, but it's like color.
Yeah, to the Desire of Ages.
Yes, yeah.
And another thing I want to share to you, she was not only writing Desire of Ages, Christ Object Lesson, Ministry of Healing. Steps of Christ was done in 1891 before she went there.
Okay.
Now, she was looking at Sarah McIntyre, and the people was like, why are you here? Let me give you why her house is so far from Avondale. It's near but far. She bought like 60 hectares property from Avondale just for them to have a money to start the school. Why she built it there, so what skirt? We even walked there like 2 kilometers. So what skirt? I mean, it's not the main road, because when she